everybody, my name is Caden.
My name is Eli.
I'm Jaden, and this is Yahuwah on the Torah YouTube channel, and this is Youth for Yah.
And we are very glad you could join us. We are doing this series weekly for the youth, trying to teach them the way that they should go, because everyone needs wisdom. But growing up with youth, if you have wisdom and you have the Torah and you have Yah's word abiding by your soul since youth, then you will not depart from it. You will not leave the path, because you'll know what is right and wrong. You will know what we are supposed to do and what is supposed to be done throughout our lives, and who it wants for us. And He wants us to be obedient people. We are supposed to be His bride to be, right? We are supposed to be His children, His people, and by being His people, we got to listen to what He says. We got to be the house of Yah, and we got to obey His house rules. So we thank you guys for joining us. We thank you for tuning in. We're really excited that for everybody that comes in here. We always ask for prayer requests. If anyone has a prayer request, you guys can drop in the comments. We will add you guys to the list. We pray for you guys all the time. His name's always being brought up. We always bring them up to Yah, ask for whatever it is you need to be dealt with. If you guys do have if you could put a specific reason what it is, if you could say what it is, if that's possible for you guys, then we would appreciate that so we know what we're praying for. We have a Telegram channel for the youth. Adults can join too, but it's mostly for youth to have friends, to have a company in the Torah that are Bible firm believers in the Word of Yah and what it means. There's always lots of discussions that go around, always lots of new ideas that come around through the Torah, learning, a lot of learning, and a lot of questions and a lot of things that need to be studied and answered. So if you like those kind of things, we have the Telegram group for you. And if you have any questions, as always, we will be there live answering it, responding to what you guys have to say. So with that, Eli is going to take it away, and we are going to begin in Proverbs 13. Alright, here we go.
So we are going to read out of both versions here, so it is easy to understand, and some versions are easier to understand than others. So here we go. Give us a real quick second.
Alright.
I will be reading out of the Sefer, and if something doesn't make sense, I will read it out of the NIV. Verse 1. A wise son hears his father's instruction, but a scorner hears not rebuke.
So there we go. We've talked a lot about obeying your parents and learning from your parents. And a wise son, if you want to be a wise son or even a wise daughter, you will listen to your parents' instruction, your father or your mother, when they teach something, when they tell you something. If you want to be wise, then you will hear what their instruction. You will hear what they want to teach you. You will hear their lessons. And yeah, read it in the NIV, please.
A wise son heeds his father's instruction, but a mocker does not respond to rebukes.
So here it's like a son, a father's instructions, and throughout your entire life you're going to have your parents instructing you on what you should and what you shouldn't do, and you have to listen to those things. You have to take it to heart, even if you don't like what is coming out of their mouth, even if you don't want to hear what they have to say. It is important that you listen to it, that you put it to heart, that you do as they say, because it is going to help you in the future. It is going to guide you on that straight and narrow path. It is going to keep you where you need to be in life and what you need to do. Because when you have the word of Yah, you are not going to stumble into the darkness. You are going to stay in the path of Yahuwah.
Hey, Fearmonger, thanks for joining us. How are you doing? Alright, so in the second part of this verse we have, but a scorner hears not rebuke. Or in the other version, Eli, it says,
A mocker. A mocker does not hear.
Does not respond to rebukes. A person that mocks or scoffs does not listen. They do not hear rebukes. They do not hear these things. They are proof that they need to hear. And if you do not hear this, if you are that person, then you are a fool. You will never learn, and you will never grow wiser.
And it could be the same for the people in the world. When you try and explain the Torah and you get mocked, and that's what a mocker is. Someone, when you try and explain them and they brush off your words, they don't listen to what you say, and they hate you more for the words you're giving out, the words of instruction, the words of wisdom.
Verse 2. A man shall eat good from the fruit of his mouth, but the soul of the transgressor shall eat violence. The NIV says, from the fruit of their lips people enjoy good things, but the unfaithful have an appetite for violence.
So there we go. If you say good things, and the good things are the Torah of good news, Yehoshua's good news, if you teach these, then good things, people will love you, people will want to hear it. It's good to their bones. Healing words are good to the bones. But if you speak evil things or you say bad things, then no one's going to want to hear it. The people who say evil things, the transgressors, they will receive violence. It says they shall eat violence, but they will receive violence. And their words are violence. They are transgressions.
Your words show what is on your heart, and if you are speaking evil, if you are speaking wickedness, things that Yahuwah despises, the things that are unfriendly, unkind, that will hurt people, that Yahuwah says He despises those who speak evil, then that really shows that your heart is dark. But if you're speaking good, because when people are in a dark moment or in a dark time and they need to hear a good word, whether it is something that you tell them, that you're there for them, that you love them, that Yahusha loves them, that there's more to life than the darkness they're in, that brings healing to people's bones. That is a path, that is light they didn't have. And when you speak light, you are showing that your heart is truly with Yahuwah, that you have the love of Yahuwah inside you, and that you need to pass that on.
Verse 3. He that guards his mouth guards his life, but he that opens wide his lips shall have destruction.
So there's a lot of meanings to he who opens his mouth. It could be someone who fights with someone who constantly is in the drama, into the fights, always opening their mouth when they could keep it shut. They could keep it quiet to avoid the problems they could be in. But the people that open it and destroy their lives, because words will always come back to them. Whatever you say will always be remembered by other people, and people will bring it up, and it may destroy you one day. It may hurt you. It may hurt your life. But if you are speaking good and you are speaking things, it will be blessings to those who are around you. It will be good. People will remember you as the person of Yahusha, the person of the Torah that spoke good, that speaks kindly to people, the person that follows in the footsteps of our Messiah.
Right, we talked a lot long ago about keeping your mouth shut, holding your tongue, because you don't want to see evil things. If you say good things, then you will be blessed. Yahuwah will bless you when He will bless you for doing good. He will bless you for being righteous. If you say evil things are causing, what's the word I'm looking for?
Contention?
Contention among the brethren, and you are fighting them, then Yahuwah will not bless you. He might curse you for not loving your neighbor, because that is a command, is to love your neighbor. And if you're saying evil things, that is not love. And you must understand, your neighbor is not your physical neighbor next door. Your neighbor is not just your family, your brother. Your neighbor is everybody you see, that you walk by, your co-workers, somebody you're working for, somebody that you're managing, anybody in life. The person at the checkout, that is your neighbor. Everyone is your neighbor. And so if you guys are saying evil things to them, Yahuwah will curse you. Yahuwah is not going to bless those who are saying wickedness.
Verse 4. The soul of the sluggard desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. The NIV says, a sluggard's appetite is never filled, but the desires of the diligent are fully satisfied.
So, those who are lazy are not going to eat, and that is what they said back in the history books, even though the history books are all filled with Satanism and paganism. That was one of the things back when the Pilgrims built the United States, when they were building it, that those who did not work did not eat, and that is now for now's times, and back in the days as well, because back in the days, everyone grew their own food, everyone had their own food, and if you did not grow your food, you would go hungry, and that's what he says. Those who are lazy are not going to eat, they are going to go hungry, and if you are a lazy person, you have to really prove yourself to Yah. Yah is looking to build an army of people. We're going to be reigning with Yahuwah in the kingdom, destroying the evil. We have 1,000 years where we go out and we fight evil, where we are the chosen people of Yah, and we will be reigning with Him, dispersing the evil. And He wants the people that are willing to work hard, the people that are willing to fight for His name, and the people that are sluggards, as it says, lazy people, the people that are slothful in their ways.
Right, and now more than ever is the time to be working hard, to be bringing in food for yourself, storing food, because their food is looking like it's running around the world. We need to have food, and if we cannot have food for our families, then it is worthless. So we need to be working hard for this food right now. And so time now is to work and get this food, because if you do not work, you will starve to death. And if you are not storing up, then you are not like Joseph. Joseph was very wise in storing up food when the famine was coming. We can see there may be a possible famine coming, so we need to store up food.
The Grand, how are you? How are you doing, Grandma?
Yeah, shalom. Thank you for joining us.
Verse 5. The righteous hate what is false, but the wicked make themselves a stench and bring shame on themselves. The Shastra says, a righteous man hates lying, but a wicked man is loathsome and comes to shame.
So, a righteous man hates lying. And why does a righteous man hate lying? Why would that be that he hates lying?
Because lying is a sin, and righteous people are trying to strive for truth. We are looking for truth. We are looking for holiness. We are looking for righteousness. We are trying to stay on a straight and narrow path. And we hate liars, because lying is not the truth. That's false witnessing, saying evil things, lying about something that could be very important, and that's breaking commands. Righteousness is hating sin. We want to hate sin. We hate the sin that is against the Torah, and sin is breaking the Torah. And if we are breaking the Torah, then we are sinning.
But a wicked man is loathsome and comes to shame. A person that loathsome, that you know is going to lie, you know is going to ruin your day, you hate to be around that person, and you will see these people in life that is speaks wickedness, that speaks evil, and the only thing you can do is to try and change them. You have to speak to them about the Torah. Do they know the Torah? Do they know what they're speaking as wicked? Do they know these lies that Yahuwah is going to count them on Judgment Day? And if any of you out there are caught in traps of lying where you can't stop lying, where that is all you do, you really have to seek Yah first, seek Yah where he may be found, so that you can get out of that habit, because Yah is not going to let the liars, the fornicators, the sodomites into the kingdom, is what he said. He is going to turn them away, and he wants a perfect people. Even though we make mistakes day by day, we need to be striving for righteousness. We need to be striving to follow the Torah the best we can.
Right, and the lawless don't make it. Yehoshua said, "Depart from me, you who work lawlessness, you who work iniquity." Those who are sinning and not following the Torah, who are not trying to stay on the straight and narrow path, if they are not on the narrow path is following the Torah and believing in the Messiah. And if you are not doing that, then you are not on the narrow path. And if you're on the narrow path, it's time to change that, because your soul will be condemned, and you never know when you may die and be judged.
Verse 6. Righteousness keeps him that is upright in the way, but wickedness overthrows the sinner. The NIV says, righteousness guards the person of integrity, but wickedness overthrows the sinner.
So, mine, I'm going to read it out of mine, because in verse 6 it says, righteousness watches over him who is perfect in the way, and the way is capitalized here. The way it says here, the way is capitalized, but the wickedness overthrows the sinner. And the way here, for those that do not know, the way is the Torah. And when Yahushua says, I am the way, the truth, and life, he said he was the Torah made flesh. The way is the Torah. Those who are walking righteously in the way, the righteousness will protect them, and it can protect through blessings. It can protect them through many things in life, keep them out of situations they will not get themselves into, because if they get themselves in these situations, it may lose their soul, and your soul is worth everything in life. Nothing is worth more than your soul, because you want to make it to the next kingdom. You want to be in Yah's reign, and for those that want this world more, they are losing their soul with their wickedness. It said the wickedness overthrows the sinner, and that basically means that the wickedness eats up the sinner till there's nothing left of the sinner but just wickedness.
Right, and we're going with this. I forgot where I was going with this. I totally forgot where I was going with this.
Yeah. So.
Oh wait. Yeah, I remember now. All right. So righteousness will help you eat on this earth. Let me help you. It'll keep you out of trouble. Righteousness will watch over you, because you'll know not to do sin. You'll know not to do evil. You'll know you shouldn't steal, because stealing can end you up getting very hurt. If you try to steal from someone and someone catches you stealing, they might try to hurt you to keep their possessions. If you are murdering, you will may be convicted and something may bad happen to you. I mean, if you don't get judged on this earth for your sins, you will be judged in the next life, and you will die the spiritual death. And that is something that is bad. And remember, we shouldn't be afraid of dying, because Yehoshua said, do not be afraid of those who can hurt the body. We shouldn't be afraid of those who can hurt the body, but be afraid of him who can hurt the body and the soul. And that is Yahuwah, and he will cast us away into the pit of fire, because we were unrighteous.
Verse 7. There's that makes himself rich, yet has nothing. There's that makes himself poor, yet has great riches. The NIV says, one person pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth.
So, it basically says here that riches mean nothing in this life. It does not matter if you have $100, if you have $1 million, if you have $1 billion, it does not matter. You can be as rich as you want, you can have nothing. And when it says you have nothing in the next kingdom. And that is where we should be storing up our riches. As Yahushua said, you need to store up your riches in where moth and rust won't destroy. And that is in the kingdom. When Yahushua told the rich man, the young rich ruler, as the story goes, he says, sell all your stuff, give it all to the poor, and it'll be added into the Shalim. And he was sad, and he goes, because Yahushua said, rich people cannot make it through the eye of a needle. The camel cannot make it through an eye of a needle. It's easier for that than for a rich person to get in the Shalim, because they are stuck with their greed. They are stuck with their money. They want to take it with them. And if you are a rich person, which there's nothing wrong with Yahuwah giving you blessings, but if you are rich to the point of it blinds you from Yahuwah, things have got to change. You got to do what Yahushua said. Help the poor. Help those.
Give to the poor.
Bless your soul by blessing others in this life. You can do good to your soul by helping others in this life. And if you have nothing at all, and then that's what Yahushua said, blessed are those who are poor in spirit, because they will be rich in spirit soon. And those who are poor, those who have nothing at all, they are the most humble people. We know a couple families overseas and things like that, and they are the most humble. They are the most amazing family ever. They are very into the Torah. They are very humble people, and that is what Yahuwah strives for: is people that are humble. He doesn't want people that are arrogant with the chips on their shoulders, that are only care about their wealth and their worldly greed and their status in the world. And that is what Yahuwah hates. He says, do not be part of this world. He says, if you are part of this world, then you are not part of me.
Right, if you love the world, you do not love Yahuwah, because you cannot love two masters. And if you love the world, you are serving the world. So you want to be out of the world. You don't want to be doing what the world does. You don't want to look like the world or act like the world, because if you do anything the world is doing, then you are sinning, because the world hates Yahuwah. At this point in the world, everywhere you go is wickedness. Everywhere you go, it tries to destroy the children. It tries to destroy everything. It tries to destroy our connection with Yahuwah. So we do not want to be a part of this world.
Verse 8, the ransom of a man's life for its riches, but the poor man hears not rebuke. The NIV says, a person's riches may ransom their life, but the poor cannot respond to threatening rebukes.
So basically, it's saying here that a rich person can pay his way out of trouble, right? He can get out of the trouble, and in the next part of that verse it says the poor cannot even respond to the threatening or rebukes, and that's like a thing we have here when we have the poor child in jail. If you heard our previous lessons where we did the going over the unknown commands series we have going on, we have a child that was poor. He couldn't do anything. He fought he tried to fight the good fight against a bunch of wealthy Americans here, and he couldn't do anything. He was outnumbered, and that's what it means here. The poor can't even respond to the threats of the people.
Right, and we're not supposed to be rich. We're not supposed to strive to be rich. We're supposed to be striving rich in the kingdom. And the poor here, it says, Yahuwah says, blessed are those who are poor in spirit, right? Blessed are those.
Verse 9, the light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wicked shall be put out. The NIV says, the light of the righteous shines brightly, but the lamp of the wicked is snuffed out.
Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory, but the light of the righteous is your inner spirit, is your soul. And when you are in the Torah, when you have the esteem of Yahuwah on you, because you are doing what is righteous, because you are living that straight and narrow path, which he said to walk that straight and narrow path that few have found, your light will shine bright. You will have something the rest of the world does not have, especially in these times, in the times where the world is seeming to come to an end, everything seems in despair. You can shine that light. It will shine brighter. People will notice something is different about you, and that is what Yahuwah wants. He wants us to be different. When he says we're a peculiar people, he wants people to come up to us and ask us why we do these things, and that's why zizits are so important. The tassels, the 4 tassels on your garments are so important, because people ask about them, and that is a great way to open up your chance to minister to the people.
Right, and your light, a lot of people will see when you have the light of the righteous, you are righteous, and you have light, there will be a difference about you in the world. You will look different. You will have a different effect on them. You'll have a different kind of almost like a feeling. People they can see that you are a different person, and people ask you, what makes you happy? Why do you do this? What do you believe in? What is it that makes you a light? What is it that makes you different? And a lot of people have asked, what do you believe in that makes you different? Why are you so happy? Why do you believe in this? And a lot of times that is your way. If you are righteous, there will be a different light to you. You'll be a different person. You can tell somebody how they're feeling by looking at them. And sometimes, if they are on the righteous path, they will be a light, and they will look different in the world.
And that's not to say every day is going to be a happy-go-lucky day. There's always trials and tribulations that come for it. But when you go out into this world, you are going to have a different aura, as they say, around you. You're gonna have a different feeling around you.
All right, verse 10. Only by pride comes contention, but with the well-advised is wisdom. The NIV says, where there is strife, there is pride, but wisdom is found in those who take advice.
And that is absolutely true. Where people are prideful, where they have the chips on their shoulders, where they think
they think they are better, they think they're stronger, they don't want to take a rebuke, and they think they are right.
They refuse to humble themselves.
Yeah, and they will
cause contention. It will cause contention because when people are prideful, they won't open their eyes to Yahuwah. They would rather fight to keep their pride intact than to humble themselves before Yahuwah. And there are people that will do, you can't tell me what to do, I'll do as I want, people. And those are the people with the pride. They will cause contention. They will cause fights amongst brethren because of their pride. And that's something everyone has to stay away from. Everybody has a moment where they are too prideful to listen to something. Everyone here, especially us in this room, we're all guilty of having prideful moments, chips on our shoulders. And all we can do is pray and stay in the Word and get better at our daily lives and get better at how we live our lives to work toward a more righteous path.
Verse 11. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathers by labor shall increase. The NIV says, dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow.
So, Yahuwah wants people to not rip other people off, not to take other people and basically take advantage of them because they know they can. He obviously hates false scales. He says false scales are an abomination to him. Lying tongues is an abomination to him. He does not want any of that. He wants people that are righteous and just. He does not want his people to be robbing from another one, dishonestly getting dishonest gain. But he says if you work little by little, that is what makes it. That is what makes it count. And Shlomo was a very rich person. He was already born of richness, so he knows that he needs to teach his children, and that is us. We are the future generations he was writing to. That works little by little. That works honestly. Those who work honestly is what Yahuwah is looking for. He's not looking for someone that will rip people off to make a living.
Right, and you don't want to be the person that sins to get their wealth. You want to be the person that does it in vain, right? The person that is working and only doing it for whatever, to show the world that they are rich, or to just to have that money, If they do not have a purpose of feeding a family or something like that, you're doing it in vain. You shouldn't be trying to be rich just to be rich. You should be doing it for Yahuwah. And if you're just trying to get rich to have vain, then you'll sinning if you're just doing it in vain. You're just worshiping money.
Alright, verse 12. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. And the cipher says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but when the desire comes, is a tree of life.
So, if anybody's ever waited for something like good news, a job, or something that is important that they think they're going for it and they never hear anything back from it, and you're waiting, it's what it says. It makes the heart sick, trying to wait for it and then finding out that it doesn't happen or something of that sort. That is what he says. He's trying to tell us that we need to basically speak good to people, speak kindly to people, give them hope in their heart. Because if they don't have hope, it will make them sick. But it goes when what does that word say? When desire comes, it is a tree of life. When what they were looking for shows up, it's a good feeling. When they hear the report back that they have been accepted into the job, they have gotten where they need to go, it makes people have a tree of life. And we need to give people the hope, that desire of the Torah. We need to give them that feeling that they are missing. If they have no hope and their hope is all gone out of them, we have to be the people to show it to them. We have to be the remnant of the people of Yahuwah that will show the light to others.
Right, and here's the thing, hope. Not too long ago, I felt like I had lost hope. Right? There's no hope in this world. There's no future in this world or where the world's at. There is no goodness in the world. And I felt almost depressed because there was no hope in this world. But then I realized after Jason, my dad, he explained that we are not looking for hope in this world, but in hope in the next kingdom. That's what you must understand. You must be looking for hope in the kingdom. When Yahushua returns, that will be our hope. That is our future. That is where we shall be. We should not be looking for hope in this world, but hope in the next kingdom. So those who feel like there is no hope, there is nothing in this world right now, wait, because soon enough, Yahushua will come back, and he will have hope. He will bring a kingdom, and we will have a future. We will not be in this wicked world anymore where there is nothing going on good, but Yahushua will bring good back.
And that's why it was called the good news. The Basada was the good news, because Yahusha is good news. He is what we should be looking for. He was there to bring hope to the people in our time. He was there to give us hope that we can make it to the kingdom without having to offer sacrifices.
Verse 13. Whoso despises the word shall be destroyed, but he that fears the commandment shall be rewarded. The NIV says, whoso scorns instruction will pay for it, but whoever respects the command is rewarded.
Now, there's so many people in the world. They hate the commands. They hate the Torah. There's so many people. Most Christians you talk to, there's very few of the Christians that will ever turn back. And the Christians, some of them are very good people, but they hate the commands. When the commands come, they despise it. They say it's on the cross. They want their pork. They want this. And then, but it says, but he that fears the commandment shall be rewarded. Yahuwah rewards you for fearing the commandments. When you fear the commandments, you fear breaking it. You don't want to break them. You want to be in the right path. You know that there's going to be judgment. It's like running a red light. If there's a police officer there or a cop, you will know that you're going to have fear of running that red light because the cop is there. And it's like Yahuwah, he is watching. He is watching your sins. And when he sees that sin, he judges you, right? You get a ticket for that. You will get a ticket. Yahuwah will judge you, and you'll have to pay for that judgment. You'll pay for that ticket. So you do not want to run that red light, because you will fear the commands. You fear of paying the price for that. So that's what we are rewarded for fearing the commands, because when you fear them, you will obey them.
A good way to sum it up is that Yahuwah, at the end of the day, when he talks about scales and balances and measures, he will have everything rewarded out. He will have everything dealt out. He will have the punishments for the wicked. He will have the rewards for the righteous. He will have everything evened up. He will have everything done by the end of when it's all said and done. He will have everything justly and divided out to where the punishments and the rewards go to the righteous and to the wicked.
Alright, verse 14. The Torah of the wise is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. The NIV says, the teaching of the wise is a fountain of life, turning a person from the snares of death.
Yeah, the Torah is life. The Torah is absolutely life. When you have the Torah, you have something you never had before. You have a goal. You live to accomplish what Yahuwah has told us to do. He says, go fulfill my Torah by doing my Torah. And that does not mean to get rid of the Torah. He says, go fulfill it. Go do what it says. Go be my people. If you're unclean, go wash. If you are eating pork, you got to put down the fork and you got to go eat something that is clean in his eyes. If you are in a sin that is against the Torah, if you are drinking blood, you got to stop that. It is life. When you have something that you are looking forward to, that you are aiming towards, and that is what the Torah means, is to point and to direct towards. It is teaching and instructions, and that is what it means to lead on, to instruct. And that is what we have. We have a path. We know what we're doing. And when you have a path and you know exactly where you're going, it is a very motivational factor for every single day life. For what you need to do is to do what Yahuwah has told us, to work towards that goal of making yourself more righteous, more holy every day.
Verse 15. The good understanding gives favor, but the way of transgressors is hard. NIV says, good judgment wins favor, but the way of the unfaithful leads to their destruction.
So good understanding gains favor, but the way of the treacherous is hard. So good understanding, what does it mean for good understanding? It means those who understand the Torah, those who understand the words of instructions, they will gain favor because they will do. Because not only to understand or hear mean in Hebrew to just Shema, which was hear and do, you're supposed to do that. If you are understanding and you are doing what is told, you will gain favor, and not just by man, but by Yahuwah. And that's the most important favor you can gain, is by Yahuwah. He will find favor in your sight when you are walking in his ways, when you are walking according to what he has said. He will rain down the blessings. He will rain down the esteem. He will show you favor. And there are a lot of things in the Bible you can read throughout all these people. You may in life, anyone listening now, you may have moments where you know that Yahuwah was there for you. You know that Yahuwah found favor with you and that he blessed you and that he was walking with you because you were walking that path. And that's what it means. Those who transgress the Torah, that's a hard life for them. They live a dark life. There is no hope. There's only darkness around them, and that is something that is very hard to deal with, is only darkness.
Verse 16. Every prudent man deals with knowledge, but a fool lays open his folly. The NIV says, all who are prudent act with knowledge, but fools expose their folly.
So if you are prudent, which is like a term of like very wise or a smart person, you will act with knowledge. You will be that kind of person that uses knowledge. Use what you've learned, and you will apply it to your current situation. If you just learned it before and you learn how to do it better, you'll apply it to your new situation. But, fools, they expose their folly, they expose with their wickedness, and that is what the fool will do. They will expose what they're not good at, they'll expose what they've done, and they are very loud people.
Yeah, the people that spread folly will spread things that are unnecessary to say, and Yahuwah wants us only to speak good things. We're not supposed to speak an idle word, because even that will be counted out against us. So the people that spread folly, that speak the things that only hurt people, that only cause up problems, that is folly. The people that have knowledge, they act prudently, they act wisely with their knowledge of what they know. They don't go spreading rumors, they don't go spreading wickedness around to the rest of the people.
Alright, verse 17. A wicked messenger falls into mischief, but a faithful ambassador is health. And NIV says, a wicked messenger falls into trouble, but a trustworthy envoy brings healing.
And for that, it's not like a person that's delivering you like a package, like a messenger, someone that delivers the word, someone that brings the word. He is life. That person is healing. When you hear the word, it is healing. And it doesn't matter if people say that will never work, the Torah will never heal, the Yahuwah will never listen to them. He absolutely will. He absolutely wants his children to return, because whether anyone believes or not, we all could be scattered Yasharel. We could all be part of the 10 tribes that never came back. And if not, we should be desiring to be part of Yasharel. We should be joining the house of Yasharel. And that's what it means to be grafted in, is to join with them, is to do the Torah, to be in the path of Yahuwah, to be his child, to be his son, to be his daughter. Whatever it is that you are doing to please Yah, whether it is you are living your daily lives and you are walking the Torah, or you are new to it, that is what you should aspire to. You are the children of Yasharel. You are not in the house of Gentile. There was never a house of Gentile in the Bible. There was never all the Gentiles, they always got smoted by Yahuwah. Yahuwah always took out the Gentiles. He threw hornets at the Canaanites, giant hornets, that kicked them out of Yasharel so the people could come and dwell there.
Right, and don't be that wicked messenger that perverts the Torah or changes up what they do to suit them, because you'll see a lot of preachers, a lot of people in Torah, they're good for a while, and then all of a sudden they change and something's not right. Their message becomes diluted, they become something else, and they are teaching evil things. So do not be a wicked messenger that falls into mischief and teaches the wrong message, because you will be counted for what you teach. For those who teach, it says, those who teach and the people, if you teach them wrong, you will be the least in the Shamaim.
Verse 18. Excuse me. Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuses instruction, but he that regards reproof shall be honored.
Oh, yes.
The NIV says, whoever disregards discipline comes to poverty and shame, but whoever heeds correction is honored.
So, if you have been given instruction, you have been told what you should do, what is done, and you don't do it, and you end up getting whatever it is in trouble, you end up getting in a situation that you are going to feel, and there's no, for lack of a better word, stupid. You're going to feel very stupid, and that you're going to feel very shameful on this thing, because you knew you should have done this thing, but you still ended up doing it, and you ended up in this situation. And it says you will have poverty and shame for the people that ignore discipline. He says you are never going to make it in this world. You're never going without the Torah, without listening to the instructions, whether it's your parents, whether it's the people, your guardian, whoever is
an elder. Someone who's trying to teach you, someone in the Torah, someone trying to give you a good life lesson. They might not be the Torah, but they're giving you a good life lesson.
You're always supposed to listen to the people, even if it's wrong. You have. That's why you have to be a diligent person that seeks out the Torah. That's why you have to be an approved workman, is because you have to really decipher what is right and what is wrong. If someone tells you it's good to listen to them, but if it's something that is just baloney, that is not of what is holy, you got to ignore that. You got to throw that away. But if it's somebody that's actually trying to make you better, that is trying to put you, that makes you walk further with Yah, that makes your walk all that much better, then you need to listen to that. You absolutely cannot throw that away. You have to put that on your heart and add that to your life.
Verse 19. The desire accomplished is sweet to the soul, but it is abomination to fools to depart evil. The NIV says, a longing fulfilled is sweet to the soul, but fools detest turning from evil.
A longing fulfilled, if you've if you're doing concrete work, that is, it's something that needs to get done. You have to either pour a floor or something, but once it is accomplished, it feels very good. Once you look back and you see the floor that it's all flat, it's very, very nice to look at. It's very smooth, and it feels very good to the bones. But
right, anything accomplished, whether it's teaching someone the word, whether it is exercising or something, whatever your desire, whenever you do something, when you ever accomplish something you desire to do, it'll be sweet to your soul.
But to turn away from evil is abomination to fools. Especially if you are in a church, if you are new and you're out of a church and you try to explain the Torah, they do what they call ostracizing, especially in Jehovah's Witnesses and other religions. They will ostracize you. If you start going against a religion, you will basically become the hated one, the black sheep as they call it.
Right, you'll get kicked out, you'll be ridiculed.
When you turn away from the abominations, fools will not understand that the people of this world that are tricked, that are brainwashed by the works of Hasatan, they absolutely hate when people come to the light, when people come to the knowledge.
Verse 20. He that walks with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. And he says, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm.
So we talked about this a couple of videos ago.
We talked about quite a bit.
You got to choose your friends wisely, because whatever the habits are of that person, they're going to rub off on you if you spend long enough time with them. And if you get in with the wrong crowd, you are going to end up in a lot of problems. You're going to end up in a lot of situations you could have saved yourself from if you didn't get with these people. And the only way, the best thing advice I have is find someone that is in the Torah. I wouldn't say go find a friend that is worldly, because it is only going to bring you bad habits, that is going to bring you a bad influence in life when you find someone that is outside of the Torah. And like it says here, if you walk with fools, you will also be a fool, because like we said, you got to choose your friends wisely. You cannot choose the people of this world. Never did the Yasharites told to be friends with the Canaanites. He was told to get rid of them, drive them out of the land, or else they would ensnare them. And that is what will happen to those who do not choose their friends correctly. If you choose people that are worldly, that are very vain and speak profanities, you're going to end up a lot of habits of that. Especially, you'll notice a lot of people in churches, they have a lot of friends, they have a lot of people that are in that group, but they're extremely worldly, and it makes them very worldly as well. And that is why you cannot be part of that evil group. You have to seek Yah. If you have no friends, it is better for that than to lose your soul having a lot of friends.
Right, and a good example of people rubbing off on the wrong way, you see the Yasharites, every time they mingled with the Canaanites, we see, we'll read soon enough, I believe in Numbers or somewhere around there, that they started mingling with
Joshua.
No, this is Phoenix, the son of...
Oh, this is Phoenix.
Yeah, so this is the son of Aaron. He ends up killing a Yasharite and another person, because they went away. They're worshiping other Elohim, and they are doing evil, because they hung out with them. They started doing evil. And every time Yasharel kept getting kicked out of the land, they kept getting sent to exile, because they kept sinning. They kept doing what the other nations did. The other nations rubbed off on them, and they became sinners, and they started worshiping the wrong people.
Verse 21, evil pursues sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid. NIV says, trouble pursues the sinner, but the righteous are rewarded with good things.
Yeah, trouble always follows someone who is living the life outside of Torah. Trouble is always, you know that whether they have good in their hearts, there's always trouble, because they do not have the Torah. They do not have the protection from Yah to stay away from the demonic wickedness of this world. They do not have to stay away from the evil thoughts of this world, because they do not have the Torah. They do not understand that the Torah is there also as a protection to them, as a protection to their souls. And it says the good will be repaid. Like we said before, Yahuwah will have everything dealt out by the end of it. He will always make sure by the end, when it's all said and done, by the end of the day, he will have everybody equally paid out to what is owed to them.
Verse 22, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. NIV says, a good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous.
Right, and that might not be money or something. It could be food. You might have save up enough food that your children, or maybe you give them land. You give them good instructions. If you teach your kids good instructions, your grandchildren will have good instructions, and that is a great inheritance to be in the Torah. Being in the Torah is a very great inheritance, because most people don't have the Torah. So if you teach your children the Torah and they teach their children, you gave your children a great inheritance to give to their children, because they have a spiritual life.
And Shalom here says that we will inherit the sinner's riches, and that is as a promise from Yah. When you look at through all the times Yasharites were able to raid the people and take what was theirs, they always ended up richer every time they went and did it, because Yah blessed them. He said the sinner's riches will be yours. And that is, if you're not rich in this world, you're going to be rich in the next world. You're going to have all these things accounted to you that were blessings to you by following the Torah.
Verse 23, much food is in the tillage of the poor, but there is that is destroyed for want of judgment. The NIV says, an unplowed field produces food for the poor, but injustice sweeps it away.
So, here where we live, we have rain, a lot of rain, and if you don't till the ground, if you don't prepare the ground, you can't just go and throw seed in the ground. You have to, it will wash away, it will be destroyed, it will be swept away. And you can't be, in anything in life, you cannot be lazy with it, you cannot be slothful with it. You have to work for what you want, and that is what who wants. He wants his people. We were supposed to be gardeners. We were supposed to be rulers of the land, and we were supposed to work for what we needed. We were supposed to work for food.
Right. The Yasharites were farmers. That's what our jobs are supposed to be. It's supposed to be farming. You never hear about them talking about office jobs or something like that. Nowadays, most people don't have farms. Not a lot of farms to work on, or most people don't have land. In Yashrael, most people had land. Most people had brothers or families had land. And they would work on that land.
Alright, verse 24. He that spares his rod hates his son, but he that loves him chastens him early. The NIV says, whoever spares the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them.
So we see now a lot of days people will say don't hate your children is bad, creates them bad children. But Shlomo is the wisest man to ever walk here. They said there will be no one wiser than you. And we're not counting Yehoshua because he's a son of Elohim. That's kind of unfair. But we have Shlomo says you gotta he says
you gotta discipline him. You spare the rod. I think he says somewhere later on in the next few chapters, he says, spank your child on the buttock or something like that, where he says, like, spank them on the rear. It's like, it won't hurt them, but it will discipline them. They won't die from it. And that is something you will have to do, is discipline your child.
Right, when your children sin, you have to discipline them. They walk in the right way. They can't be, don't sin again. You have to discipline them because you need them to walk in the right way if they want to save their soul. And Solomon, the wise man, said, you must beat your children and teach them. It is the right way. When your children sin, you must teach them the right way.
And it's not like beat them senselessly. It is to discipline them, to teach them that what they did was wrong and they can't do that, or it's going to punish them farther in the future.
And it's not child abuse, it's child learning.
It's more love. Here, Shlomo says if you love your child, you're going to discipline him. If not, you hate your child.
Right, maybe not every time it needs to be a beating. Maybe there's other punishments you can give them.
And for children out there, you have to be willing to accept the discipline when you've done wrong. You cannot hate your parents for disciplining you. You cannot hate them for showing you the right way. You have to thank them. You have to accept that, and it makes you a better person. That's what makes you wise.
Right, and when you give your child a beating, you do not need to keep beating and beating and beating. Give them their beating, and then explain to them what they did. Give them their beating, and then talk to them again afterwards, and explain to them what they did was wrong. That they don't need to do it again, and they will know what happens when they sin. And when they grow up, they'll be like, I know that was very bad. My parents taught me that was bad. Now I understand that it's bad. And so you must teach your children the way they should go.
Verse 25, the righteous eats to the satisfying of his soul, but the belly of the wicked shall want. The NIV says, the righteous eats their heart's intent, but the stomach of the wicked goes hungry.
So, Shlomo says that the righteous are going to be satisfied. We are going to be full, but those who are wicked are going to be hungry. And that can go two ways. That can be in a worldly perspective where we will be full with food, or we will be full with the Spirit. And the people of the wicked are going to be hungering for something else, but we will be full on the Spirit. And that is what our life should be, is to be full on the Spirit, where Yahushua says, eat the bread of life. And if you eat this bread, you'll never be hungry again. If you drink from this well of life, you will never be thirsty again.
Right. All right, so that was the end of the chapter of Proverbs 13. We've done this for 13 weeks now. That's a pretty good mile marker so far. We're doing really good. We do this every week on fifth day, so Thursday on the Gregorian calendar. So if you guys want to join us every week, we are here every week at 6 o'clock, I think it's Central Standard Time, whatever time it is for you guys, and what time we'll be doing it every single week. You guys got anything from Cubs?
If you guys have any questions, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, any questions, you've got biblical questions, you have answers for us, you have stuff you want to talk about, just write down in the comments. And prayer requests. We really, really love your guys' prayer requests. We love you guys asking for prayers. We have prayer lists. We add people too. And if you guys have a certain need or something, like you have injuries, you're praying for spiritual guidance, you need Yahuwah to protect you or something, if you guys give us something to direct the prayer to, that would be really helpful. We would pray for you, and we'll pray for whatever's going on in your life.
We also have the Telegram group, but we mentioned that at the beginning of the video. That was everything. We hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, we will see you guys next week, and we'll probably see you guys again tomorrow in the Unknown Commandments. All right, shalom.
All right, shalom.
Shalom.